Greetings everyone and welcome to SpaceWeek Live for Sunday, October 10th, 2021. As always, I'm your host, Raw Space. Last Monday marked the 64th anniversary of Sputnik 1, the first artificial Earth satellite. Launched on October 4th, 1957 by the Soviet Union from the still very active Baikonur Cosmodrome in what is now Kazakhstan, Sputnik 1's famous radio beep lasted for 22 days. The satellite's orbit decayed naturally, and it fell back to Earth on January 4th, 1958, 3 months after it launched. There was only one launch last week, and it was Soyuz MS-19. On board were cosmonaut Anton Shkaplerov, movie producer-director Klim Shipenko, and Russian actress Yulia Peresild. Let's check out the launch.
The second umbilical now retracting. This initiates the auto sequence start for engine ignition.
Second umbilical tower separates. Engine turbo pump set flight.
Engine ignition, turbo pumps coming up to flight speed, and liftoff. Liftoff of Soyuz MS-19 with an actress and her producer beginning a journey to the International Space Station.
So, Shipenko and Peresild are not the first civilians to the ISS, but they are the first professional film crew. They're spending about 11 days on the station filming scenes for a Russian movie whose name translates to Challenge, about a surgeon who has to fly to the ISS to operate on a sick cosmonaut who can't return to Earth without the procedure. Cosmonaut Shkaplerov will be staying on station for 6 months on a regular expedition tour. And that sick astronaut will be played by cosmonaut Oleg Novitsky, who is part of the previous expedition crew. Here we see them boarding the ISS from their Soyuz.
First in, Soyuz Commander Anton Shkaplerov. Russian actress Yulia Peresild, and her producer-director, Klim Shipenko.
So I haven't heard anything new on the Tom Cruise situation, because he was rumored to have been planning a trip to the ISS for filming, I guess, another Mission Impossible movie. But I haven't heard any more news on that, and I'm not sure where they are with that production. But be interesting to see what they come up with. Their set design is a little limited up there. They can't bring a whole lot of equipment with them to change the appearance of the ISS. But if the scene requires that they be on the ISS, then they're good to go, because that's where they are. Let's see. So yes, that was the only launch last week. In other news, the Japanese Epsilon rocket scrubbed again last week for the second time in a row. I haven't seen any specifics on why that scrub took place, but actually I think there might have been wind, because there weren't closed captions available during the broadcast, and it was in Japanese. So, but I did see somebody mention that there was wind that was perhaps a cause for that scrub. So keep an eye on the Raw Space calendar for the new launch date. Let's see. Looking ahead to this week, on Wednesday, October 13th at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 13:30 GMT, Blue Origin's New Shepard suborbital rocket will launch 4 more crew past the Kármán line. On board will be Blue Origin's Flight Operations Director Audrey Powers, Chris Boschhuizen, Glenn DeVries, and actor William Shatner, who famously played Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise for 29 years, from Star Trek the original series in the 1960s to Star Trek Generations the movie in the 1990s. Though he doesn't look it, Shatner is 90 years old now. He looks very good for 90. He will be the oldest person to have reached space, bumping Wally Funk from her perch after just 2.5 months. She had flown on the previous New Shepard crewed flight. Neither of them will have orbited the Earth, though. That distinction remains with John Glenn, who flew on the space shuttle in 1998 at the age of 77. Then on Thursday, October 14th, at 5:40 a.m. Eastern, 0940 GMT, an Arianespace Soyuz will launch OneWeb 11 from Vostochny Cosmodrome in eastern Russia. On Friday, October 15th, at 12:24 p.m. Eastern, 1624 GMT, a Chinese Long March 2F will launch the second crew to the Tiangong space station. The taikonauts expected to be on board are Zhai Zhigang, Wang Yaping, and Yi Guangfu. Unlike the previous crew, which stayed on station for 3 months, this crew will be staying for the full 6 months. Considering that Tiangong currently consists of 1 module, plus the docked Shenzhou 13 crew transport spacecraft, that's a long time to spend in a very small space with 2 other people. However, they're all professionals. I'm sure they'll do fine. Then on Saturday, October 16th, starting at 5 a.m. Eastern, 0900 GMT, watch the launch of Lucy. Not that Lucy. The Lucy space probe that will be traveling to the Trojan asteroids. The Trojans are 2 groups of asteroids that orbit in relation to Jupiter. If you've heard of the Lagrange points, they are a series of 5 points around an orbit that are gravitationally stable or semi-stable. And the Trojans are a cluster of asteroids that orbit, 66 degrees ahead of and behind the planet Jupiter, because that's a gravitationally stable position, and they're held there by that gravitational arrangement. So Lucy will be the first mission to be visiting the Trojans, and that. See, unfortunately, I don't have all the details pulled up, so I'm not sure when Lucy will be arriving, but probably won't be for a couple years, because it takes a while to get out there. But we will definitely have to stay tuned for that. Lots of good science coming back, and some images of asteroids that we've never had a close look at before. That'll be very cool. Let's see. Let's take another look at this other Lucy. All right. Later on Saturday at 4:15 p.m. Eastern, 2015 GMT, is coverage of the crew farewells and hatch closing of Soyuz MS-18, as cosmonaut Oleg Novitsky, movie producer Klim Shipenko, and actress Yulia Peresild prepare to return to Earth. Interestingly, they'll be stuck on the Soyuz for almost 5 hours before it undocks. That is an unusually long time, but I'm guessing that what they will be doing is filming additional scenes for the movie in the Soyuz, especially considering that cosmonaut Oleg Novitsky is who they've been using to act in the role of the sick cosmonaut that Yulia Peresild's character performed the operation on. So this will be not only the cosmonaut's literal return home, it will be the character's return home. So I'm guessing that's why they have extra time in the Soyuz. But the undocking coverage starts at 9 p.m. Eastern, 0100 GMT. And then the deorbit and landing coverage begins at 11:15 p.m. Eastern, 03:15 GMT. And all of those streams I will have for you here, here on Raw Space, including the Chinese one, which we are expecting live coverage for, or of. All right. So I would like to take a moment to thank and welcome our new channel member, Liam Kellum. Welcome, Rothling Kellum. All right, so let's get to your questions. What do we have? Tig Rayhoff. Why did the actress and filmmaker go up to the ISS? They went up there to film a movie. So if you're making a movie and you want to film scenes in weightlessness without using CGI, you could film on a series of parabolic airplane flights, the Vomit Comet or whatever the Russian equivalent is, where the plane arcs up and then arcs back down, and you have about 30 seconds of weightlessness. But that is not very long, and it would be very difficult to film in those conditions. However, if you're filming on the ISS, you have days of weightlessness to work with. And if your location in your movie is actually the ISS, then the ISS is in fact the perfect location to film from, just as the moon was the perfect location for to film the moon landing on on location. So yeah. Hershey M, how many ISS residents are there now? Let's see. 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know. Somewhere between 7 and 10. I forget how many. Let's see. Oh, crystallina bacteria. How do you clear cache? And what is a cache? Well, cache is what you take to the store to purchase products with, and you clear it by giving it to me. Yes, that's the definition. No, clearing cache in cookies is just getting rid of your saved browser information for a particular website or page. As for instructions on how to do so, I'm sure they can take care of that in the chat for you. Mark Desire, the Lucy mission will take 12 years, I believe. Yeah, outer solar system missions are long-term projects. They take a long time, not only to get to their destinations, but also to conduct their missions and then finalize them. Mark Desire, a busy month for human crews in space, October. So there was an event that I just wanted to touch on. So as humans in space become more normal, like we've got 2 space stations up there right now. We have commercial spacecraft, suborbital spacecraft, as well as orbital spacecraft, flitting about. We've got Virgin Galactic, Blue Origin, SpaceX. We will see an increasing number of new records for the number of people in space, both in space and orbiting the planet. And so I wanted to make note of, let's see, I think it was when because Virgin Galactic's Spaceship 2 flight had more people on it than either Blue Origin's New Shepard or SpaceX's Crew Dragon. What are we looking at? August. What month is this? One moment. I'm figuring it out. Where are you? Virgin Galactic. 16 people. Okay, so it was on July 11th. This is a while ago now, but on July 11th was Virgin Galactic's flight. And on that date, for a period of a few minutes, while their Unity vehicle was in space, there were 16 people from 7 countries on 3 spacecraft in space above our planet. On the ISS, from the USA, were Mark Vande Hei, Shane Kimbrough, and K. Megan MacArthur. From Russia, there was Oleg Novitsky, who will now soon be deorbiting, and Pyotr Dubrov. From France, there was Thomas Pesquet, and from Japan, there was Aki Hoshide. On the Tiangong space station, because it was crewed at the time, they have since come back down, but there were Ni Haisheng, Liu Bumang, and Tang Hongbo. And then on Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2, Unity 22, from the USA were David McKay, Michael Masucci, and Beth Moses. From India was Sarisha Bandla, and from the UK were Sir Richard Branson and Colin Bennett. So 16 people, 7 countries, and 3 spacecraft, all, not orbiting, but all above the Earth in space at the same time, which I thought was very cool. I just put that together when I was compiling some historical records and events, space-related events, to add to my calendar, which I'll link again in the chat. And so that is currently the record of the most people in space ever. But it's not the most people in orbit. That would be that would have been during the Inspiration 4 mission, which was of course, the first all-civilian orbital space flight. And there were 14 people in orbit at the same time. 7 on the ISS, 3 on the Chinese space station, and then, of course, 4 on Inspiration 4. So expect to see those records gradually climb higher as we see more flights. So, for example, there could be a SpaceX orbital flight while there is also, a Virgin Galactic launch or a Blue Origin launch or whatever. So cool stuff. All right. Any more questions? Yes. Doc Schlor. Hello. I love all things space and found your channel recently, and I like the format and wanted to say thank you for the work and effort. Nice job. Well, you are quite welcome. Doc, It's my pleasure to do what I can for you. Rhonda Wileman, shoot, what did I miss? Darn late notifications. Greetings, Raw Space, and hello to everyone in the chat. Best of health to you and all your loved ones. Thank you, and the same to you. Jimbo Thunderhawk, can you give Latanya Smithy a shout-out? Sure. Lito, or Latanya, is our good friend and channel participant, longtime channel participant, as well as being a special friend of Jimbo and a good friend to us all. She is currently about to undergo a medical procedure, and so we wish her the best with that. Tig Rayhoff, how is Bennu Kitty? Bennu's doing well. He's probably, well, he likes to do his own thing. Being a typical cat, he can't be pinned down, so whenever I'm doing Spaceweek, he is anywhere but here. But sometimes you can see him in the Starman live stream, or the Starman stream, which is my 24/7 music stream that I have on my channel. I also have during daylight hours here in North Carolina, so from about 7 in the morning to about 8 at night, I have Bennu Cam turned on, which shows his cat tower. And when he deigns to occupy that tower, you can see him playing, observing, or napping there. Excuse me. Crystallina bacteria. Is the Chinese space station smaller than the ISS? Yes, significantly. So currently there's only one module in the Chinese space station, the Tianhe module. And once the new crew launches up there later this week, there will be the Tianhe module and the Shenzhou crew spacecraft, just like Soyuz or Crew Dragon or Starliner, if it ever gets done. So it's not like the ISS has, I don't know, many modules. It has like probably half a dozen modules on the U.S. side and multiple modules on the Russian side. It's got the equivalent volume of an approximately 6-bedroom house, whereas the Tianhe module that is currently the Chinese space station is like less than 1 bedroom. So it's a little bit cramped right now. But they do plan to expand it, not to the size of the ISS, but they do plan to have multiple modules, like maybe 3 or 4, something like that. I don't have a date on when the next Chinese space station module will be launching, but I believe it is on the schedule, and so it's within the next year or so we should see that station begin to expand a little bit bigger. All right. Okay. All right, looks like that's going to wrap it up for this week. So thank you all for joining me, and I hope that the rest of your weekend is a good one. And until the next stream, which will be New Shepard on Wednesday, keep it raw, and I will catch you later.
That's the way being is made up.
Is the interval between one tone and another. The steps, as it were, on the scale. It's the interval. So in the same way, in the intervals between this year's leaves, last year's leaves, this generation of people and that generation, the interval is in some ways just as important, some ways more important than what it's between.